Good evening. That's 7 o'clock on a Monday night, and here I am with mental mind treatments. I got messages already here from Marion saying good evening and blessings to all. Kayla saying that a friend, Nancy, want like to be included in the treatment that she let me know that she needs, and she also says blessing and much love for all. Um, so we'll just see what goes on. She sent me another note here. Yeah, she would do it. Oh, she wants me to do a separate one for Nancy. I thought she wanted me to include it. But anyway, well, I hope you all had a better day than I did. I had a very busy day. I was tired. I mean, and I'm doing a treatment for myself tonight on sleeping because I'm awake a lot in the nighttime now with a hip and leg issue, and so I get tired, and then today was a busy day. I had clients, I had other things I had to do, and so it was like, oh my goodness. So some other work I put on hold is just on hold because I couldn't get to it. But I had to laugh today when I got this card. We've had it before, but I just crack up on it. It says, my mind is a machine. I can choose to direct it instead of being directed by it. And as our first mental mind treatments are going to be dealing with computers, mine is more like just tired in my mind, not always being right on the money. But Kayla, she is also learning some things around the computer. And I'm just going to put it that at our age, some of these, I've used computers for years and years and years. And then all of a sudden my mind sort of wants to freeze and doesn't want it. And I remember when the screens used to do that. And so we don't always remember. So what I have for Kayla was to retain the information that she's been given to work with on the computer or on the phone. And she said, you create the numbers. So actually, I went to my cards and I got the Magician, the Six of Cups, and the King of Swords, which basically the Magician says all things are possible. So yes, that's very accurate for anything that you're dealing with. Everything is possible. The Six of Cups says it's more of a past memories. It's about the memories that you've had with things. And the King of Swords basically says, I don't want to do this. So it's really about dealing with where you're at and what's going on. So I'm going to do a treatment for Kayla on this. And we'll see what comes up, because very often something very, very different comes up. So I know there was one power and there's one essence. And I know as I speak my word for Kayla, that there is a great connection in understanding the power of the mind, of the energies, and it's as though to flow with that. And I feel here with the Magician is saying all things are possible. It's easy to do that, but it's again the memories in relation to the Six of Cups, which is really, it sort of, I'm going to say, distorts things. And so then we get defensive, then we get upset, then it's like we don't want to necessarily do this. And so really the upsetness comes because we get overwhelmed. So I know that in the overwhelmingness, we just need to breathe and center ourselves back into our bodies and remind our bodies that we're going to do what we're going to do. So let me just let's do the treatment on this. I know in the one power, as I speak my word for Kayla, that everything is possible if one goes slowly, if one goes carefully, if one has an explanation sheet to work by, helps. I know that for a fact. But it's also here is remembering without getting frustrated. And when one gets frustrated, then everything goes bizarre. And that's what I see here is we resist it. And so I am going to add a drop of acceptance, a drop of knowing, and allowing things to go at a slow rate. I'm also going to make another suggestion is that if you are working, that you take breaks very regularly, whether you just get up and have a drink of water, a cup of tea, or walk around the room, but you don't sit and try and keep on and on and on and on, that you take a break. Give yourself a little bit of extra time to be able to do what you need to do. And I give thanks in knowing that not only with the clarity from my cards, but also in knowing as I move into that energy that that is really what needs to be done. And I give thanks in the knowing of this as we release this and go through. Now, I don't really have, Kayla, what exactly Nancy wanted to do. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit more so I can see if I can get it a little clearer. Um, Nancy would like to be included in the treatment for you and I. And then I thought you said something else. Perhaps you would do a separate one for Nancy. Yes, I'm not really sure. I presume it's with computers too. I mean, it's what's happening is we're aging, that things seem to be more complex than they were when we were, because I was one of the first people that used computers in my field of people that I knew. And I had everything under control, knew it well, but then I was a lot of years younger. And that's part of the issues. So for Nancy, I got three numbers, 20, 16, and 17. And one of the elements that I see here is 20 is really the acceptance. Just accept this is what's happening and not feel it's a disaster, which is the 16, but bring it back into balance. And again, it's quieter, more balanced, and is easy. So as we move into treatment of that, I know as I speak my word for Nancy, that it is just an allowing more time. It's somehow there's a thing about time in here. And it's like acceptance of the time. If we're trying to push time, it's not going to work very, very well. But to keep things on an even keel and an even balance so that it works effectively. I also feel the sense of more concentration makes it difficult. So it's more like learning and knowing when to relax, when to step back, and just change the scenery for a moment. And then before you come back in and begin again, I give thanks and knowing for Nancy that there is room to be relaxed, to accept, to know that even though we get upset, that is what creates all the hassle. And so we release and let go, knowing that balance, acceptance, and awareness is the keys. And so I give thanks and knowing of that. I'm going to leave mine for a little later. So, okay, where we are. Karen, hi, Karen B. Good evening, Norma, and love and blessings to everybody. Karen M. Karen, greetings, Norma. Remember, for those of you that are new, but if there is a new number down there, we have three basically Karens that come on. So I have them kind of. Karen is the first person. Karen B is Karen B, and then there's Karen Lee. So we separate them. So Karen, you have 3, 21, and 12. 3 is the love vibration and the creativity and the essence of being and knowing. And 21 is really a super balance, bringing everything into balance and awareness. And 12 is acceptance. So what we're seeing here, Karen, is, I think, an alignment, a bigger, more, I don't want to say effective, but it's the word that came into my head. It's almost as we bring things into an alignment, there's more effectiveness, there's more balance, there's more awareness as we accept and again, newness. We accept the newness of applying the love vibration to it all, no matter what it is. Seeing the love essence working and being in all of that. So that there has been, what's the word am I going to say? So that there is a sense of coordination within it, a coordination where everything responds and everything comes together. So as I move into treatment with I get lost in that. Sorry, I got lost. I don't know if I was already in there or not. Anyway, I know there is one power. I know that Karen is familiar with the love force. I know that Karen is aware of balancing her energy in relation to everybody else's within and around her, people she knows and doesn't know. And that the acceptance of herself as being all that she is, accepting her brilliance, accepting her lovingness, accepting the essence of truth for herself. And it's in that truth, it's in that awareness of manifestation of love that everything comes together, and therefore it is accepted, it is brought in, and it comes alive. And for that knowingness, we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, we release that with love and light. Karen Lee, I just got to make my notes in my notebook so I don't lose track here, because I can lose track with all these. Hi, Norma. Hope you are good. I would love a treatment for connecting with my spiritual team and spirit. I've been feeling disconnected lately. That's what's going on in the world. That's why. Sorry. Okay, 12, 15, and 17. 12 is we've already got one. 12 is acceptance, number one. 15 is where we get caught up in the emotionality and we kind of lose sense of our balance. And 17 says, you have balance, you know how to use it. So the key here, I think, Karen Lee, is the 15, is the emotionality. I'm just tuning into that for a minute because acceptance and balance, you usually have those pretty good. So I look at that 15, and that's the emotional imbalance, the emotional it's the disturbance. Now, my question to myself as I look at that, is that mine, which would be your disturbance, or is it somebody else's disturbance? Is it somebody else that's disturbing? My first thought when you gave me these numbers actually was that there's a lot going on vibrationally in the world. And I'm in a way questioning how much of that disturbance you are taking in, whether you are aware of that or not. It's like, if you're listening to TV, if you're reading in a newspaper, if you're listening to the radio or friends talking, how much you're taking on of that unsettlement of what is and what's happening and where's going. And sometimes in that, we just need to let everything, realize that everything always comes out, even if it's not how you want it. Eventually, things get resolved. The 17 is balance. Keep your balance. Accept that, yeah, that's what's going on. And if other people want to get caught up in everything, that's their responsibility and their choosing. So, and as we move into treatment on this, and some of you might want to tag along with this if you're being affected by the changes that are happening out there in the world. I know there is one power, and I know that as I speak my word for Karen Lee, there is a strengthening of the inner center. There is a strengthening in the weather, in the knowingness, I should say, excuse me, in the knowingness, the acceptance that all things are together and are at one. And that by balancing the energy of self, by understanding the love of self, by bringing into the awareness of self, everything begins to come in a whole different way. Eyes. The eyes are coming to me. I know it's because my glasses were slipping down my face, but it's like How are you perceiving things? Do you perceive you're a part of or separate? If you are a part of, recognize the love force that is there. Find it, look for it. Where it, and if it is not, it's not for you. It is not for you. And third time, it's not for you. If you cannot find the love, the compassion, the awareness, the acceptance, because acceptance is high here, in any given situation, step back. You don't have to have an opinion. You don't have to have an emotional reaction. You just have to be you and choose for balance, choose for understanding, and knowing that no matter what, in the inner sanctum of whatever, there's a love. In the inner part of you, there is love. In the inner part of knowingness, so when you get, that uncomfortableness, maybe others don't have it. And just accept that. So it's just quietening and accepting and allowing everything to be the way that it is. I give thanks in knowing that Karen Lee is at one with all that there is, because the love energy is strong, and allow everything else to dissipate so you're not caught up in it emotionally. And for that, we give thanks as we release and let go by saying, and so it is, which is really good. Okay. I think that was there. Okay. This says Sab, wow. Okay. That might have been for someone else, but thank you because I needed to hear this. I'm glad that's what happens in this show is that what's for one, we're not all very different. So I'm not sure which one it was, but we did a whole pile of things on computers there. So that could be that. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Every Monday night, I am here doing these mental mind treatments with my psychic impressions, and we go from there. Okay, so Karen B now has some numbers for me. And we have 7, 18, and 20. Okay, she said, oops, 20 got missed. I'm not sure if it was in the beginning, the end, or the front. I'm just adjusting my collar a bit because this hand doesn't go up there. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is. That seems to be what the order of the day is. 7. 7 is the Chariot, leaving behind the old. 18, though, that's the emotions. That's the moon. That's where we think we are right and we're not. And 20 is acceptance. A lot of acceptance tonight. Okay. So part of this is watch the mind, because the mind is a great deceiver at times. The mind gets emotional. The mind gets caught up with things that are going on, and sometimes things can get distorted. Somebody else was up here. Well, they have 15. That's the stronger emo. Those are very clear. 18 isn't always clear that it's an emotional action or emotional reaction. So it's something to watch out for, because unfortunately it's about deceive. It's really about in a deception, and it's sad sometimes. But we all do it at different times. So the idea is to understand it. So this is about letting go, turning away from that which is not working, and accepting the consequences of that. If there's something that you can't go along with, if there's something you can't agree with, you just accept that. And then you get to choose, because the 7 says you're going on in a new way, a path, a new idea, or whatever it may be. So let's do a treatment for clarity here. I know there is one power and one essence, and I know as I speak my word for Karen B, that change can sometimes be very disturbing. And I also know that in that our mind will make up variations of different stories or concepts or whatever. And it just says, relax. You don't have to know, you don't have to understand. You just need to accept that everything is in its right place at the right time for whatever it is you're choosing. It is about knowing that no matter what, everything is in its right place. And so when we get, you may not even think you're caught up, or but the mind is a little confused, unsure, kind of fractious a little bit, just breathe it out. And just remember the little card we had come up tonight. My mind is a machine. I can choose to direct it instead of being directed by it. And when we're dealing with number 18, that's very much part of that. So I give thanks in knowing that you have clarity, that you have strength and awareness, and you recognize that if something just doesn't fit, you can accept that. But in that acceptance, you choose what you want to do about it. Maybe you need to reject, maybe you need to just accept, because you're not going to change anything. It is what it is. But it is that knowingness that things are changing. That number 7 up front. That's a letting go of the past and moving into the future. And we're not always super aware of exactly where that's leading. So breathe, ground, become aware, and know all is well. And I give thanks in knowing that Karen B is just fine. Okay, let's see. Kayla says again, thank you. Those suggestions are great and align with what I have recently written, stacking and reinforcing habits to practice. Just don't overdo it, Kayla. Just take little bites. You're not going to eat the whole cake at one time. You're going to take a little bite of it. You'll find it'll go much easier. Karen says, that made perfect sense. Thank you. Oh, that's good. I like to make sense. Karen Lee says, thank you, Norma. You are the best. Thank you. And Sab says, thank you. Okay. Ashika, hi. We haven't seen you for a wee while. At least I don't think I have. Anyway, I don't remember. A couple of weeks, I think, anyway. That seems like forever sometimes. 7, 11, and 13. And abundance and health and healing for the left hip. Okay, let's have a look. We got 7. Isn't that interesting? There's 2 7s. I don't think I have any other 7s. No. Sometimes we get the same numbers coming up. 7. So it's about letting go. It's about letting go. Knowing that you're on a new path, whether it's a new healing technique, whether it's a new way of looking at things, or whatever, there's newness here. But the key here is number 11. And I'm just smiling to myself if you see me smiling, not for here, but I was saying earlier I had some consultations today, and one of them we really got to talk about number 11, which is commitment to your path, commitment to the direction that you're going in, because you have 2 large, especially number 13, of change numbers. How you have done things in the past, you need to choose what you're going to do in the future. It is not what you have done in the past. So there is a change, there is a growth, there is a progress. Abundance. You can do visualization on that. You can open your heart to allow things in. Health, the same thing. When you have a hip issue, very often has to do with flexibility on the mind. Are you being flexible in your mind? Very often we are not. So all of these things here, I think, is to do about change, Ashika. Change perception, change thoughts, change feelings, and know that what you are committed to needs to be achieved. Because if I say to you now, you can change your thinking by noticing it, you can freeze it, evaporate it, and replace it. You can say, oh, yeah, 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 I can do that. But then you don't do it. That doesn't give the energy a change. If we say the number 13 is the leaving behind the old and moving into an unknown space because you're not there yet, and you're also in this having to decide, this number 11, having to make the commitment to having a new way of looking at things. I think here, I have to be careful of my language here, but it's, you know how sometimes there is a saying, when you reach a spot, you got to do something and get off the pot, so to speak, and get moving. I just feel here is that this is your watershed. This is a watershed for you. And in growth, that's what's happened sometimes. We come to a place where we really have to not only decide, but to commit to what we are wanting to achieve. Once I think that on the mental, psychological, emotional side, what will happen is that the stress on the hip will ease off, if not disappear, because there's a locking in there of the old. I'm not saying that changing perceptions, thought patterns, emotionality is the easiest thing in the world, but look how many people had here dealing with change tonight, even though we have been talking about some of this for quite some time. The letting go of the old and moving into the new. Even myself, I have to look at where I get stuck. We are people who are evolving in a world that is unstable right now. And I think that affects a lot of us, even though we're not aware of it, even though we're not consciously aware. Like, I don't sit down and in front of TV programs or newspapers, but I also hear because I have people around me. It's a knowing that nothing is really stable except you. You are the stable person. You've got to know where you're at, what your expectations are, what you are wanting for you. And that's that claiming and with love, with compassion, with understanding to bring forward so that the healing, because the hip is usually about moving forward. It's very difficult for the leg to move forward when the hip's not working well. So it's about moving forward. And this whole thing says, commit to your change, commit to your movement. I have several books that talk about that, and one little one, and I would sometimes I give it away. And if you ever look at my newsletter, the next one will be coming out, probably towards the middle of March for April, May, June, on my web page, you'll see whatever it is the, what do you call it? Sometimes I offer things, and sometimes at reduced prices and sometimes for free. But there's a book that would really help you in lots of ways. So we want to make sure that you get that extra little help. So you can find me or email me. It's on my website. So go for my website, normacowie.com, and take a look and then give me a call. So she says, yes, it is a while, but really it's about change and commitment to your change. It's about that's going to resolve so much for you when you realize the old way is bye-bye. New way is coming in, but then you have to get used to the new way. So I'm just going to give a treatment knowing that there's one power in the one essence, and you will have the strength, the power of the knowingness that change and commitment to the change of thinking and feeling and being aware is easy. It's like deciding this is going to be easy for you as you move forward in growth. And if you listen to any of the other programs that I do, you'll see there's lots of instructions in there on how to create that and do that. And if not, come back on a Monday and put it in. Say, I need more information. So I just want to wish you well on that, so that that you can walk freely and easily into your new, abundant, and healthy life. And so it is. Amen. Karen B says, right on the money tonight. Thank you very much. And 3 hearts. That's good. So, oh, well, we did approximately around our usual time. Well, I am going to do one for myself. No, I wrote it back over here. Yes, I have been having trouble with my back, which relates down onto the sciatic nerve, and it wakes me up and I can't get back to sleep. So I'm sleep deprived and my ankles and things are not doing well. So, okay, so I am doing a treatment for deep sleep and recuperation. And I picked some numbers off the top of my head, like everybody, I ask everybody else. And I got 22, which is the full faith, number 3, which is the Empress, love, and number 17, which is the star, balance. So what does that tell me? Is to have faith with the love force and create balance in your world. Well, I could see where that could apply. So let me give a treatment for myself. I know there is one power and one essence, and I know as I speak my word for myself that I can have faith in the future. I can release and let go worry and uncertainty and frustration. I can accept the love force fully 100% as I create balance and awareness and keep doing what I love without worrying about consequences and or the shoulds. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do the other? I give thanks in knowing that being able to see these numbers in clarity, that I truly understand what needs to be done. It's not that I just think I know what needs to be done. I understand it. Have faith in the future. Have faith in myself. Have faith in the lovingness that I want to represent and create the balance in my life. And that's because I'm doing a lot of thinking of like, okay, what comes next? Where am I heading? What am I doing? Where am I going? All of these things. I just want to say I give thanks in the ability of knowing this mental mind treatments that I can do to aid myself, and that I'm in this position here to be able to help those of you that check in and give your blessings to others, that you listen, and I know has a lot of effect. And I give thanks as I release this, knowing it's true and done. And I do want to say for those on Saturday, I did some channeling for people, and I was just so thrilled with it. I was so happy, and they were too with the results. It's just one of the things that every now and again I will offer at a reduced fee to channel your guide. And how can I say that? It brings joy to my heart. It just brings joy to my heart when these words that come into my mind and I speak them, well, just like I do in treatment actually, and they relate. They say, yeah, because sometimes I say the most odd, like weird things, and I say, you understand that? Oh yes, yes, we do. Well, I do. They usually say I do. So it's like I just want you to know that for those of you that come regularly, thank you. I enjoy doing these on Monday night, even though, like I will admit, I was trying to have a nap and the phone kept going, so I didn't really get a nap. But because I was really tired from the last few days, but I answered my question here. So that's what the beauty is. That's the effect that this technique can give to you, especially putting it with my tarot numbers. I want to thank you so much for your support. I want to thank you so much for keeping me in this next week in your minds, just being clear. And just as it said, where was I? Where I wrote mine down? Yeah. basically, it's really about using my energy equal. Like 17 is about balance as well. Keep it, and you got the energy, you don't overdo it. Remember how many weeks we were saying to Kayla, don't overdo it, don't overdo it. I don't think I was overdoing it. I think I was getting upset over things because I was trying to figure things out. I'm beginning to do my bookkeeping for 2024. And it's, yeah, I am not doing. It's taking time and energy and effort. I do love doing this show. I want to be able to keep doing this show. As I said, I'm reevaluating some things, but I'm not making any changes at this point in time. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for the thumbs up. I guess that's the likes. Thank you for everything, coming on, being here, supporting me on Mondays, supporting the other programs that I'm doing. And I'm looking forward to making some changes, but they're not clear yet. They're still coming in. They're just little changes, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'll be back here on Monday. I'm back. We're on Monday now. I've got Wednesday morning, I got Sunday morning, and then we're back again next Monday. Lots of love, lots of blessings. Relax, enjoy, have fun, and no matter what, know how much you are loved. Breathe it in. Breathe it in and trust the process. And I say, good night.